Hi, I'm Chris.
And I'm Levi.
And I'm Keegan.
And today we watched Better Off Dead, a movie from 1985 starring John Cusack. And what did you guys think of it?
Well, I think Keegan should go first.
All right. So when you first talked about us watching this, I thought it was like that Drop Dead Fred movie that was made. I only know that movie from your boy Nostalgia Critic. But like I was like, we're gonna watch this weird movie that Chris watched, like a movie that him and his family were a fan of, and I'm just gonna be like, whatever was this?
It happens all the time. That's every pick that I
had no idea what this movie was, and I was like, why haven't you introduced this to me sooner?
I don't know. Well, it's one of those that like no one really ever talks about it.
Yeah, it's just kind of out there.
It kind of like one day I was kind of just looking through 80s movies to watch, because like there's just a ton. Like the 80s was such a huge decade for movies, and there's movies that kind of like fall through the cracks as far as like popularity or whatever. People do like this movie, but it's not as talked about as much as like more classic 80s movies like Pretty in Pink, or like, you know, those like sort of teen comedies like Ferris Bueller or Say Anything. So it's kind of a random pick, but it's got a lot of like funny bits and like just really good like non sequiturs and just like kind of like background jokes as well, like things that are like kind of if you blink you miss it.
Yeah. I think it's Levi's turn to talk.
I was just gonna say I didn't know what this movie was. I didn't know it was a comedy at first, and I thought it was just something weird happening on screen. But then I wasn't quite sure what to feel at the beginning, you know. And then I thought like he was a weird stalker at the first scene because he was like had all those pictures of his girlfriend. But after a while, I realized it was a comedy, and I enjoyed it. And I feel like the title is really something I could relate to, you know. Okay, So what do you guys?
Well, going back to the beginning of the movie, it was like weirdly kind of setting up that like the dad was going to be the main character. I don't know if you kind of get that vibe, because like it's kind of like showing how everyone else in the family is a nuisance to him.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I was kind of like, wait, isn't this like about John Cusack? It's kind of like it's like showing some things with him, but like it's showing the dad reacting to everyone, really.
Well, it seems like for sure that the dad is like the most level-headed one in their family, because you have the mom who is like cooking up the craziest things, and the little
doing a terrible job.
Yeah, like everything that she tries to make is just the worst thing that you've ever seen.
So like that bacon. What did you guys think about that bacon?
Yeah, the bacon was good.
So it's like bluish. I don't understand.
Yeah, it's just they're just, you know.
She just boiled it.
I know.
Yeah,
that's all she did.
So if you ever like go to like the candy store and they have like those blue ribbons that are like sour, blue raspberry, something, it kind of looked like that.
It looked kind of like that with me. Like it looked like almost like they melted those down and like put them on top of spaghetti or something.
But she just boiled it. That's all
she just
did.
boiled it, yeah. And then like as the movie progresses, things get a little crazier, like both with the mom and with the younger brother. So she starts cooking things that are a little more wild. Like has like the octopus tentacles, but like there's like a claw, like coming out of this pot, this boiling pot. And then with
like that goopy stuff with the raisins in it.
Yeah, then like it like crawls away off his plate.
Yeah.
This movie definitely has like moments where it like goes full tilt into like ridiculousness.
Yeah, it's pretty absurd.
It's pretty absurd, which is like I love it a lot.
Yeah,
for that reason. There's just a lot of funny gags in it, like when his teacher is like teaching the class and everyone's like super into it and like really wants to be involved. It's For some, like, it just...
the bell rings and they're all like, oh.
He's like, oh, it's okay. I'll see you guys tomorrow. It's all right. And then, like, it takes it, like, a step further. He, like, holds Lane back from class, and he's like, I've heard some things. You know, I've heard that you broke up with Beth, and I was hoping you wouldn't mind if I took her out. Like, just to, you know, the funny, like, the wildest thing that a teacher could say to you.
I think the part that really got me was they set up earlier that the son has cut out all the box tops or whatever of the cereal, and so all the cereal's spilling out. And then, like, just a few minutes later, John Cusack's walking around the kitchen, and he just, like, he grabs it, he pours it into the cat bowl.
Yeah, as it's, like, spilling
out. Spilling out the side. And then he, like, walks over and pours himself a bowl, but it's spilling out the side. And he's, like, talking to himself. So
he's like,
not
fully
even,
distracted.
like, recognizing it. And, like, that stuff gets me. Because it's just, like, it's not, like, technically the focus of what's going on, but it is. Because it's, like, the, you know, that's the joke, is seeing that. And I like bits like that. Because it's, like, that. I feel like that's something that's not going to be written in the script, really. That's, like, something you think of and then go, hey, why don't we just do this just to add something silly to this moment?
Yeah, it's a callback from earlier too.
I mean, it could be part of the script. I'm just saying, like, it, like, feels like something that, like, couldn't just, like, be that planned out.
Sure.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, but it's funny, like, just the perspective of the dad grabbing, like, 3 or 4 different boxes of cereal, and, like, all the box tops are, like, cut out, but they're, like, on the bottom of the box, so everything is just spilling out. It's like the kid doesn't care. He just wants whatever is, like whatever he's mailing in for.
Speaking of that kid in the mail, so he gets a certain book from the mail too.
How to talk to trashy women.
Yeah. And then it just later he's like up in his room, and he has like 5 women.
They're like all like drinking champagne.
And and he's 8 years old, so
yeah.
It's just a lot of I mean, it's one of those movies that we can't just, like, keep talking about all the jokes.
I know, yeah,
because talk about all the jokes.
Yeah. Levi brought up a good point that it kind of reminds you of, like, Family Guy.
I think he was mostly referring to this.
So yeah, it's referring to the
bike kid that keeps showing up to fight
newspaper guy.
Oh, the chicken fight.
So I was like, kind of like chicken fight, because he, like, shows up randomly.
Yeah, the newspaper kid is funny. I like when he's walking home from the dance, and they're all
a ton of them.
Yeah, like it's like Night of the Living Dead. This movie does a good job of, like, doing those little bits that, like, parody like other movies.
Yeah,
I really liked all, like, the suicide attempts. They're kind of funny.
Yeah, so, like, whenever, like, kind of a new low hits him with Beth, he like tries to off himself in a couple different ways. But I like in the first one, he tries to hang himself with, like, an extension cord, and then he, like, has second thoughts, but then his mom opens the door and is, like, because she's trying to vacuum.
Is mopping, I think, or
she's trying to vacuum the carpet, like, to the edge.
Yeah, which makes sense, because, like, that's something you would do. You'd have
it's a real mom move, and I was
and he's just, like, hanging there.
Yeah, and she's oblivious. Yeah,
and it doesn't hold on it too long. Like, no. There's like jokes in here that, like, I feel like if this were a movie coming out today, they would have, like, dragged that on. Like, she would have shut the door, he'd pull himself back, and then she'd open it back up, and he would start swinging again, and then, like, he would, like, start making silly, goofy faces, and then he'd be like,
gasping for air, and, like, you don't need that.
But it was just, like, maybe 10 seconds of him hanging there while she was vacuuming.
It got the point across. And then, like, the bit with the garage door, it's like the dad's pride and joy just to have this one thing, and it just keeps getting ruined in, like, different crazy ways. I feel like we should bring up a pretty significant point that Keegan and I caught on to that Levi realized later.
Yeah, so we were watching the movie, and they're like, "Oh, don't tell him." And I was like, it was when the French lady came on, or the French girl came on. I was like, oh, is that some actress that I'm supposed to know? And so I was trying to figure out who this actress was this whole time, and I'm like, trying to go through all of my list of like the 5 actresses I know the names of that would have been in the 80s. And I couldn't figure it out. But then, if you guys want to continue the story.
You were focusing on the wrong character
Yes.
that was also in every scene that she was in,
Yes.
which is Ricky,
Yes.
who's played by none other than our boy, Dan Schneider. So, Dan Schneider was like an actor before he like became a producer and a director and all that.
Mm-hmm.
He was in a couple 80s movies. And in this movie, he's kind of, you know, it kind of mirrors reality a little bit. He's a kind of a sex pest. And,
Forcing himself on a woman.
Yeah, forcing himself on women and just being an overall creep to be around. So, yeah, it's...
And he's also on the heavier set side, as in real life, too. So
Yeah.
But we don't make fun of people for
no,
that.
we don't.
I will say, though, as big of a scumbag as he is, he got a few laughs out of me in this movie.
Yeah, he was really
he
funny.
definitely knows his craft. One of my favorite parts is he's running at the end of like the dance, and he's like going to find her. He accidentally lets go of his balloon, and then he does like this hop to try to grab it. It's a little thing, but it's those little flavor bits that I really enjoy about this movie. It has plenty of those like little tidbits that are nice.
I will say, although there were some funny bits in this like side plot, I guess, that I'm about to talk about, but anything that really like had to do with the skiing stuff, I was just kind of like, not too into it.
Yeah,
Like-
well, the skiing thing is like it's
It's like technically the through line.
yeah, it's the skeleton that holds the plot together.
But it was not anywhere close to something like Johnny Tsunami or anything like that.
Speaking of Johnny Tsunami,
Yes.
his dad is the kid who does like the sports announcer voice
Oh, is it?
in the car.
Okay.
That's Johnny Tsunami's dad.
Wow.
Learn something new every day.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the skiing thing is just like it's the glue.
Yeah,
That kind of like, oh well, we need something to
Yeah.
like, you know,
Progressive.
something for him to achieve.
Yeah.
Right. It was just kind of one of those things where I was like, oh, so this is going to be the climax and everything.
Right.
And it's just going to be a skiing thing where we see stunt doubles doing the skiing.
Although a stunt double skiing with one ski.
Yeah. There's, like I said, there's like some good stuff like sprinkled in it. But
while
like,
being chased by a paperboy.
Yeah.
Which-
I like the little skis on the
Yeah,
the
he has like
wheels.
he has like skis on either foot and then like a uniski on his
Yeah.
bike. And when he finally gets beaten,
Yeah.
or so we thought, that it just like not even like a heartfelt scream, just like a
falling off a cliff.
Yeah, I was saying it kind of reminded me. I think is it Mac and Me where the guy falls off the cliff in the wheelchair.
that wheelchair?
Yeah, kind of that feel to it.
Well, I will say there are a couple bits like that in this that I kind of wish they just kind of left it there, where it's like that was funny, but then it showed that he was okay, and it's like,
Well, it's a
We're-
kid. I think
like,
it's a kid dying.
Yeah.
Then they
but like you don't say that he dies. You just say he falls off the cliff, and
Yeah.
then that's the end of it.
Yeah.
Like that would have been more funny. And then the mom getting blown up.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
I kind of,
yeah.
I kind of wish that she was just blown up.
Right. Yeah.
It would have been funnier.
But that was a funny, like, the next scene. Sorry about your mom blowing up.
Yeah.
It was pretty good.
Yeah, but then he had to say she's all right though, and so I was like,
Yeah. Oh, I think it was because this is the '80s. You know.
yeah, this is when they
You couldn't
We're
kill
allowed to
people
do
I
in
know,
movies
but
like
maybe
that.
like it's supposed to be funny and light, not like
Yeah.
oh someone died.
But we get that this is like a silly heightened reality.
They didn't kill
Yeah.
off they're doing
Unalive.
jokes. It's not supposed to be actual death
Yeah.
and stuff.
All right.
Yeah.
But unalive itself is different than killing someone else.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to bleep out that word, or else we're gonna get demonetized.
Oh, we're not.
You're supposed to say
monetized.
unalive.
Say unalive.
No, I refuse
All
to.
right, we're gonna dub us saying unalive over
Ready?
Levi.
No.
Unalive.
Kill.
It's all right. I got it. I enjoyed the soundtrack for this movie, and there's a couple parts that like you definitely see how insertive the music is, as opposed to being like an accompanying track. It's like, well, this song is the theme song of this movie, so we're gonna put it in the dance, and we're gonna play like pretty much all of it for you, with no plot happening whatsoever. Just like a pretty lead singer singing this at the dance, because they sing a song called "Better Off Dead."
Right.
You know, and then the Van Halen song "Everybody Wants Some." I like that part with the claymation burger.
Kind of pretty talented for a burger.
Yeah, to play the guitar after just being born.
Yeah,
it's crazy. I honestly didn't expect you guys to laugh or really like enjoy this as much as you did. I'm not saying like
I'm surprised because this is like my type of humor.
Yeah, well, I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen it, and like I hadn't remembered like all of the parts that were like crammed into this. You know what I mean? Like all the bits that are like really funny. So I don't know. But I did want to watch this pretty much ever since we started this channel. But other movies just kind of like got moved up on the priority list for some reason. But we did it. We're here.
We made it.
So
thanks for watching.
In conclusion, what do you guys rate this movie?
Right. So I did not know what I was getting myself into when I watched this. I did not know it was a comedy at first. I was coming in with no idea. And I laughed. I laughed again, and I laughed a third time. Maybe even a couple of other times. So I'm going to give it a thumbs up.
Ooh.
Okay.
All right. Well,
probably
Oh.
one of the best movies I watched today.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I thought this was gonna be another
Another
lame
Smith
80s
dud.
movie that like just is like, all right, we're watching this, I guess. But I'm not meaning it against you. I'm meaning it in that like I thought it was like this other movie, and so I was like, okay, I guess we're doing this one. I mean, that's fine, whatever. But I was pleasantly surprised, and I'll give it a thumbs up as well.
Nice. I'm going to give it a thumbs up also, because it's just a good film. It's got laughs. It's got some heart to it.
It's just a funny film.
It's just a funny film.
Don't have to watch it if you don't want to laugh.
Yeah. You will. I truly believe you will laugh if you see this film.
If you think that you're better off dead, then maybe just watch this movie and you'll be like, hey, maybe I'm not better off dead, and maybe I'm better off laughing.
Bye.